What's up, guys? Welcome back. I want you to go ahead and grab a single stick or sword and let's get started. We're going to start off first with just some of our footwork pattern. We're going to be moving forward like we did at the end of last class, this time without any strikes. So stepping first with our left, face one way, turn face the other way, turn face the other way, and one more with the right. So we're just kind of zigzagging forward, and then we're going to zigzag back. But I'm going to start with a press, and then I'm going to go one way, then the other way, and then back. Press forward, left, right, left, right. Press back, left, right, right. And forward, 2, 4, back 1, 2, 3, 4. Forward, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to change your hips each time whenever you're doing this back. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, hips turn each time. 1, 2, 3. And back. And switch sides, same thing. Now we're gonna press forward with our right. Step with the left. Step with the right. Step with the left. Turning our hips and shoulders. Press back. 2, 3, 4. Press forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Press back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick up the speed a little bit. Try to stay kind of low as we change. The head shouldn't be bobbing up and down when we do this. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add those strikes back into it. Stepping back, start first with your left foot step, right hand, number 1, right foot step, number 2, left step, 3, right step, 4. And now we're gonna press back, 1, 2, 3, 4. Forward, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is why I want you to step back with the hips turned one way, so that when we want to do that strike, boom, we just turn our hips with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's go ahead, switch sides, hold it with your left hand. Now we're gonna step with our right first. Strike angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4. And then coming back with that press. 1, 2, 3, 4. And step. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4. And one more going forward and back. 1, 2, 3, 4. And back. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, go ahead and take a breath. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to cover our diamond footwork. So our diamond footwork is going to look like this. What a surprise, it makes a diamond. So check out what we have. We have all of the footwork that we've done so far. So 3 different pieces to it. So the first one, if I'm stepping here, is going to be our triangle step, except for instead of going directly towards the side and then the front, we're gonna go angle toward the front, angle the other way. Or kind of like what we just did when we went 1, 2, right? So it's that triangle stepping footwork is gonna be here. Now when we get to the front of the diamond, we're doing our forward triangle. And now we're coming backwards, still doing kind of that triangle footwork or that zigzag footwork that we just did. And then when we come here, feet together and out. And now we come all the way through. Now this is just one pattern of the diamond footwork whenever we're doing this. There's a few different ways that we can do this, but this is one I want you to go ahead and do right now. So let's do it together. Stand here. Left foot is gonna step first. Shoulders orientate that direction. Feet together and out. Shoulders change directions, right? So now I'm facing the other way. Feet come together, step back that way, turn that way, together. Now we're, again, when we get to the back, we're doing that reverse triangle, footwork. Step, step, boom. So we can make this small, like what I'm doing right now, right? It's really small steps. I'm not really getting off the X. Or if I wanted to elongate this, I could step, step, making sure that I'm really moving off of that and having this bigger pattern. Let's start small. If you want to get bigger with it, that's fine. So a few more times going in the same direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's full steps, really 6 steps if you count the front and back switching motion. All right, so starting here, 1, 2, I want to count this, 3, 4. All right, so either way, pick it up a little bit. Try to keep those hips turning with each one of these. I know it can start to get difficult, especially as you speed it up. You might want to just kind of keep the hips pointed towards the front. I did that for a long time. Still do it every now and then, especially when I start speeding it up. So try to slow it down to the point where you can change the directions that your hip is facing. All right, now we're gonna do the exact same thing, but we're gonna go the other direction. So we're gonna step with the right foot first, facing forward, right, turn, forward, left, together, step back, facing forward, right, facing forward, left. Switch stance with that reverse triangle and keep this pattern going. Step, step. Keep it going. If you trip up and you mess up, just restart. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tearing up the ground a little bit, but it's not too bad. The hogs tore it up worse over there. All right, so that is our diamond pattern footwork. Right? So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cover Redondo strikes. So a Redondo strike is a circular strike, so it's gonna look like this. That's a backhand Redondo, forehand Redondo, and we can go on top of the head, forehand Redondo. All right, so 3 of them that we're gonna practice today are gonna look like that. Key points on this: blade edge orientation, right? So I'm using a plastic sword today, but I want you to make sure that as you're doing this, that blade edge stays pointed on your target the whole time. We go down to the bottom, and then when we're pointing about here, right in front of our feet, that's where the wrist is gonna roll over. If you try to roll the wrist over too early, it usually causes the flat of the edge to hit more forward. So cut down and then come around. Now, I like to do these a lot with something that has this loop here for my pinky. The reason why I do that, or the reason why I really like that, is because I can relax my wrist, which allows it to flow. If you're death gripping the whole time, your wrist is gonna be pretty locked into place. We have to have a little bit of a flow with the wrist so that we don't end up hurting ourselves, right? So most of the motion is gonna be coming from the elbow, pushing out, the arms pulling in. I'm gonna have my hip motion with this as well. So as I'm starting here, we're gonna start with the backhand one. I find it's a little bit easier to teach most people. That's why we start in this one. So we're going to press out. And now as we get here, we're gonna start to pull our hips back. All right, so I like to kind of raise up first and then do it. Honestly, that's a telegraph and you probably shouldn't really be doing that. You should probably just strike going forward instead of raising up. But if it helps you to raise up and then go down, that's fine to learn it. Just try to get rid of that telegraph. Again, I do it, and I need to fix that for myself too. So push forward and back. But I want you to use those hips as we pull it back. Boom. I'm cutting down, using my chest to bring it inwards and flipping over at the bottom. A lot of tricep extension as we go here. That hip points forward, right? Boom, and then pulls back. And try not to have this fan, maybe you can hear it. There's difference there. Again, I'm not sure how well you can hear that, but if you are using something like this instead of a stick that has a flat edge, you can hear the difference between a flat edge and the blade. It's a whoosh or shh sound, all right? So just, if you can, try to practice with something like that. It'll help you with this. All right, so let's get in position. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna do 5 slow, and then we're gonna do 10 fast. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, pull that hip back, 5, and now let's speed it up a little bit. 1, 2, make sure you exhale on each one. 3, use that blade edge. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, left hand. I like doing the left hand. I'm not very good at it, all right? So if I look a little wonky, please refer to my right hand and not my left hand. Ready? A few slow. 1, point it out, down, flip it over when it's down here. 2, 3, pull that hip back with it. 4, 5, 6, no 6, whatever. Faster now. All right, we're gonna do 10. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and relax your grip if you can. 4, that way you don't feel as much jolting on it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, now we're going to do a forehand one. We're going to do it with a shoulder load position. So we're going to start here. The hip is going to punch forward as we extend out, and then it's going to pull back, right? So I'm here, boom. I'm going out, hip's going forward, and then the hip is going to come back as we do this. Now, I'm staying off to the side. Make sure that you're not cutting your ear off. When I first started learning this, I definitely clipped my ear a few times with this one. All right, so we're here, press it out, pull it back. Sink that hip back, all right? That's what I want you to focus on, is that same side hip, pulling it back, all right? Not so much pushing the other one forward on this one, pull this one back, all right? Let's do one more slow. Well, let's do a few slow. 1, 2, pull the hip back, push forward as you go out, back on the way down. 3, 4, 5. All right, so now we're gonna pick up the speed a little bit. Now this one, I find I usually have them pretty short. I don't actually reach out really far with this. I will reach out further with the top load one, but not with this shoulder load one. It's usually a kind of a quick type of a motion, usually to hit a weapon hand or just a weapon and then kind of a defensive posture. All right, ready? 1, 2, exhale on each one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And go ahead and take a breath. So, and that was our forehand one. Now we're gonna do a forehand on the left. So we're switching our stance. Left foot's in front, right foot in back. Ready? A few slow. 1, 2, 3, pull that hip back. 4, 5. And let's speed it up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pull that hip back. 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So now we're going to change back to our right grip. Now we're going to do almost the exact same thing, except for now the hand's going to start on top of the head instead of starting next to the shoulder. All right. So we're in a high load position here. We're going to come up and sink down as we chop down and bring it back up to this position. Right. So we're going to go back into a shoulder load position instead of a high load, and we'll go in between each one. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull that hip back. 5. Now with more speed. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And same thing, other side. Left foot forward. On top. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Pull it back. 4, 5. Now we're going to speed it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice how I'm raising up, dropping down. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, go ahead and take a breath. The next thing that we're going to end up doing is we're going to do some thrusts, right? So a lot of this has a lot of similar names, right? So you might hear a angle 1 thrust, right? But here's our angle 1 strike. I'm pulling from a lot of different systems of Kali, so things might get a little mixed up. If you want to create your own name for them, that's fine, because I might say a name for something and have the exact same name for something else, and so it's just kind of what I'm doing. So if you want to create your own names for it, whatever, but we're going to start with this upward angle thrust. So in Pakiti Tertia, this is angle 1 thrust, right? So we're coming from this position. I'm going to pop my hip forward as I thrust forward, and now when I get towards the end of my thrust, I'm going to start flexing the bicep, flex up the shoulder and the chest, and I'm going to bring it up over my shoulder here. So I'm going forward first, and then towards the end of it, it's angled up. So instead of just a straight forward and back sort of a thrust, this is more of an arcing upward thrust here. So I'm still going forward, and then I'm arcing it up as I really turn my hips, and I'm going to set up into the position up here next. All right, so right leg forward, we're here, pull it back. All right, so I think I just pulled back, maybe I just did a angle 2 slash. I'm in this position here, and now I'm going to thrust up. I like to use both hands as that counterbalance. The other hand kind of comes back here. Maybe if I have another weapon or something, I can be reaching for that. 1, and bring it right back down. 2, turn and raise that heel. 3, remember it goes out first and then up. 4, it's not just straight up. 5. All right, now let's do 10 quicker. Ready? 1, 2. Make sure you're ending with it up here. Don't hit here, because some blades do have a blade on the back edge. What am I on? 3? 3, 4. Exhale with each one. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, same thing, other side. Left foot's forward, chamber back, other hand's out, comes forward, and then across the body. 1, bring it back. 2, make sure you're turning that hip with each one. 3, 4, 5, and now let's pick up the speed a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on this specific thrust, or this type of thrust, these arcing thrusts, we want to make sure that our wrist is a little bit more flexed at this point instead of pointing out, right? If we are too far out here and we don't insert with the blade and we just hit on the back edge and our wrist is compromised this way, then it makes it easier for this blade to pop out of my hand, right? So I do want a little bit more wrist flexion at this. It doesn't have to be, you know, all the way here. A lot of Bikini Tertia guys, they want this 90 degree as you're doing it. I'm not a big fan of holding that. I think it should be more dynamic, but you don't want to hit with this edge and then have it circling around where it just pops the blade right out, right? Because then you did no damage because you missed that thrust. So you do want a little bit more angle here than if we were doing just a straight thrust like this, where you can get that full articulation and pointing forward. So it is going to be a little bit more thrust, right? Or a little bit more flexed as we do this. So 5 more on the side. Ready? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so we're gonna change it back to the other hand. And now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a reverse arcing thrust. So reverse arcing thrust looks like this. All right, so this one I do want a pretty good flexion, maybe even that 90 degrees here, because we're gonna start off on the opposite side of our body. We're going to press forward, and now this could just be here, but a lot of time it's a little bit better to have that momentum with it. We're trying to hit with that point as we arc forward and around, right? So go into the target, rip it out. You can keep it really close depending on how far away your opponent is. All right, you might have to reach out a little bit further, but be aware of that same thing I just talked about. If we hit with this flat edge and our hand keeps going this way, boom, we just disarmed ourselves. So we don't want that to happen. Starts out, it's gonna be down closer towards the hip, other hand's on top, left hand's on top, strike, stab through, boom, bring it past, and then you can just come back to this shoulder load position here. So 2, 3, pressing off this time with this leg, 4, 5. I got that one. All right, now we're gonna go and 10, fast. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, same thing, other side. Ready? Here, right hand's on top, left hand's on bottom, palm facing up. Thrust out, and turn our hips with this. 1, go into that chamber load position, shoulder load. 2, 3, 4, 5. And now let's go with a little bit more speed. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so that was our reverse arc thrust. Now we're going to do a forward arcing thrust. And now there's two different ways, right? There's multiple ways that you can do this. I'm gonna show you 2 real quick, but we're only gonna focus on 1. So the first one, the one we're gonna focus on, is gonna look like this. The second one that you can practice, right, is gonna be angled up higher, and it's gonna be more of this 45-degree angle downward. So I like to think of this one as kind of going into the clavicle and coming down, boom, right? So aiming at a target here and then going down. I like to think of this one as clipping right into that throat, boom. So we're going right into the neck and then going across. So 2 different targets here, going down towards the hip or coming across right at the neckline. It can also go to the head too, right? So I can thrust the head. I can even thrust this to the body if I wanted to, but this is just a horizontal, flat plane of motion as opposed to this angled downward motion. Either one of them is fine, but today we're going to practice this one. So just like before with this angled up, we're going to press out, start extending, and then curving it, right? So we're not getting all the way here just in case that same aspect happens where we hit the flat edge and end up disarming ourselves, but we are going to extend it out a little bit more. So it's going to be a little straighter, boom, hit the throat and bring it back, covering to this position. Ready? 1, turn the hip, 2, 3, 4, 5, and faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turning the hip, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. Raise up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Again, you should, if you're outside, be digging holes in the ground with your feet from pivoting. All right, so what are we gonna do now? We're gonna put everything that we've done after our diamond footwork together. So we had our 3 redondos and we have our 3 thrusts. So I want us to put these ones together. So we're gonna start off with the first thrust. We're gonna come here. Let me just show you what this whole thing's gonna look like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, and then we chamber again. So do all of those together in a sequence. So it's gonna go thrust, redondo, thrust, redondo, thrust, redondo. So starting off here, angle 1, thrust, 1. Now from here, backhand redondo, 2. Get to the same position, flip it over, reverse arc thrust, 3. Get to the shoulder load, 4 for that forehand redondo, flip it over, thrust, 5, chamber it to the top, hips already forward, 6, and then we drop it down again and reset this whole drill. So let's do that again slowly. Angle 1, thrust up, 1, now we're on this side, 2, comes around, 3, is that reverse arcing thrust, 4, forehand redondo, flip it over, 5, up to the top, chamber load, 6. One more time slow. 1, 2, flip over, thrust, 3, forehand chamber load, 4, flip over, 5, 6. And now we're going to speed it up just a little bit. All right, so again, thrust, redondo, thrust, redondo, thrust, redondo. 1, reverse redondo, 2, reverse arc, 3, forehand redondo, 4, forward arc, 5, to the top, 6. Again, 1, 2, 3, this one, 4, 5, 6. Now, I want you to, this time, have your thrusts or your redondos set up for the other one, right? So let's say my first thrust, that one sets up for my second or for my first redondo real easy. But now my first redondo wants me to set back up here, but I'm gonna set it up and then immediately have that flip over, right? Instead of stopping in this position, I'm gonna stop here, boom, which is gonna allow me to thrust, which brings me right over here. And now for this one, instead of going back to my chamber position, here, I'm gonna go here and raise it up, right? Which a lot of time really allows for that downward one to come as well. Boom, here, but control it and have that more horizontal, raise up, and then go into that next redondo. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Forehand. All right. So we did on one side. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Starting off here, pull back, and one thrust. 1, backhand redondo. 2, flip it over. Reverse arc. 3, 4, forward arc. 5, 6. Pull it back. 1, 2, flip it over. 3, reverse arc. 4, 5, up on top. 6. 1, reverse redondo. 2, reverse arc. 3, forward redondo. 4, forward arc. 5, up to the top load, redondo. 6. Set up. 1, hips turn. 2, notice how I turn my hip back so I can pull it again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you're still really struggling with this, you can keep practicing it on your dominant hand, but I would like you to practice both hands, right? Again, 1, reverse redondo. 2, reverse arc. 3, forward redondo. 4, forward arc. 5, up at the top. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, turn that. 2, turn the hips. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's do this 2 more times fast. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great job. All right, so that's just one little kind of combination that I like to practice doing, flowing through these, and it really helps to just be able to practice redondos, practice your thrusts. Now, when I had done this and when I had first learned this, after this one, you went right over the head, for it, boom, here, and then you would end up slashing, whether it's back down for the restart or onto the other side to reset for the other side. I'm trying to get both of the redondos in there, both of the forehands, the high one and the shoulder load. So I changed it a little bit, so you will see me on occasion still going back to the way I originally learned it. All right, so again, I'm making adaptations to these. I'm kind of meshing it in how I see fit. So if you've done it a little bit differently, that's going to be one of the reasons why. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do my striking set. All right, so now my striking set is kind of a blend between modern arneses, 12 strikes, and then some Paquiti tertia, right? So we just saw some of these are pretty Paquiti tertia, and then the basic striking combinations from this is going to be kind of modern arnese, right? So we're going to mix it together. The first strike is going to be an angle 1 strike, right? It doesn't change. Still downward 45. Second strike, angle 2, downward 45. Now 3 is going to go horizontal. 4 is a backhand horizontal, right? So now instead of angled up 3 and 4, we're going to go flat 3 and 4. And now we're going to do that combination that I just showed, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and now instead of doing this redondo strike here, we're actually going to go down towards the knee. 10, 11, and we're going to go backhand hack, forehand hack. So that's 12 and 13, right? So we're going to go to 13. 1, 2, turn the hips on all of these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is down towards the knee, 11 is down towards the knee. Now we're on the reverse side, and we're going to pop this shoulder forward. 12 is going to be a hack towards the front, bring it back, another hack, right? So reverse hand hack, forehand hack, both of them return to this same side shoulder. Now let's talk about the hacks real quick, because that's going to be our really only new thing. The strikes down here, those are pretty easy. All right, so with this, so with the forehand hack, I'm going to punch my shoulder forward and my hip forward. And now I'm starting with my wrist really flexed, and as I extend out, I'm also casting, right? So just like you would cast a fishing rod, I'm casting here. And I'm just kind of flicking this out, boom, for my hack. And now it's going to be the same thing with our backhand hack, except for, not really even except for the same motion. It's just coming from a different direction, right? But I'm still popping that shoulder forward as I extend out, and I bring it back to the same side. So it helps me get back onto my number 1 chamber side. So I can chamber from here, this hack, and from here, right? So let's go ahead and let's practice the hacks really quick. So starting off, we're going to do our forehand hack, pop the hip, pop the shoulder, press it out, bring it back. Now bring it to the other side, backhand hack. Here, and again, it goes back to this number 1 chamber position. So 1, bring it to the other side, 2, all right? 1, bring back to the same side, switch, 2, 1, switch, 2. Each time it always goes right back to that shoulder of the same side that's holding it. 1, bring over, 2, 1, hips turn, 2, 1, over, 2, a few more, 1, 2, and switch sides, same thing. Pop the hip, pop the shoulder, cast out, bring it back. Switch sides, cast out, bring it back. 1, over, 2, 1, over, 2, 1, 2, 1, over, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and one more, 1, over, 2. All right, so let's go back to our 13 striking combination. Here, right hands forward. 1, 2, horizontal, 3, 4, thrust, 5, redondo, 6, reverse arc, 7, forward hand redondo, 8, flip it over, arcing thrust, 9, to the knee, backhand, 10, to the knee, forehand, 10. Now, reverse back, 12, 13. Again, 1, 2, flat strikes, 3, 4, hips are turning, 5, redondo, 6, reverse arc, 7, forehand redondo, 8, forward arc, 9, knee strike, 10, backhand, forehand knee strike, 11, backhand hack, 12, forehand hack, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now remember, after that 5, my hips already turned. Turn it back. 6, 7, turn it back. 8. And now with this one, if you want to go over the head or you want to go short here, either one of those works. 9, 10, 11, and we're going to go 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, just like before, if you're still trying to get this down, I like to move a little fast. If you're still trying to get this down, keep practicing with the same hand, your dominant hand, but do make sure that you go and practice all of these with your non-dominant hand. We're gonna go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and switch. If you need to though, keep practicing that same side. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4 is horizontal, 5, angle 1 thrust, 6, redondo, 7, reverse arc, 8, now we've got flip over, 9, 10 to the knee, 11 to the knee, hack, 12, forehand hack, 13, 1, 2, flat strikes, 3, 4, number 1 thrust, 5, redondo, again hips turn forward and then come back, 6, 7, up, whether you want to go here or here, it's fine, 8, 9, 10 backhand to the knee, 11 forehand to the knee, shoulders squared first, 12 reverse hack, 13 forward hack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to the knee, 11 to the knee, reverse hack, forward hack. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so the reason why I wanted to change that is because I wanted to have a little bit more variation in some of the strikes. In the arm ace one, I'll just go ahead and show you. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? So I didn't like the repeating of these thrusts, right? Rather, even though in their style it is changed, one is going to be towards the shoulders, and then the other two are going to be towards the eyes. So 10 and 11 were towards the eyes, but 6 and 7 were towards the shoulders. To me, it's just like, all right, it's a different targeting point, but I'd rather, if I'm going to incorporate a drill where you have to learn this many movements, I want it to kind of encompass almost everything, and I feel like this does, other than maybe like Wittick's and then our traditional, you know, 3 and 4 angles. It's not hitting those because I'm opting for the flat angles right here, which are pretty common just to see being struck at you. So knowing how to block those is going to be beneficial. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my sword down, and I'm going to pull out a knife. All right, now we're going to do this exact same 13 count drill, but with a knife. We will change just a few things, but it's almost all going to be exactly the same. All right, so now however you hold the knife, you want to hold it here like this, or I will change to this quite often, especially if I'm doing thrusts, but I'll change to this if I'm doing more of a hacking or slashing type of a motion. So if you want the thumb here, that's fine. If you want the thumb here, also fine. Don't really care. You can even end up doing these in this grip here, right, your Pakal grip, if you want, but for now we're just going to go here. Now when I'm doing this, I want these to be closer. All right, so the way I was taught this is, imagine that you've got somebody standing behind you. They shouldn't really be able to see much of what you're doing whenever you're doing these, right? So keep that in mind. We want to keep these motions nice, tight, and controlled in this box, right? What's the box? The box is shoulders, hips, here, right? So this is our box. We want to keep it confined to our box. We don't want to have, right, these giant motions where if somebody's standing behind me, they can see me. I don't want that, right? So keep them confined, nice and tight whenever you're doing these. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, same thing. Starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and now these two are gonna be different. These are gonna be thrusts instead of hacks, right? 12, 13. All right, so palm down, palm up. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then we've got 12, that backhand, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to the knee, 11 to the knee, 12, backhand thrust, 13, palm up, forehand thrust. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, I realize I went a little bit fast on that. We might not have this down quite yet, so I'm going to slow down a little bit. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Last one on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Same thing, other side. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll slow down. 5, that thrust. 6, 7, reverse arc. 8, redondo. 9, forward arc. 10 to the knee. 11 to the knee, 12 palm down, backhand thrust, 13 palm up, forehand thrust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Again. 1. Imagine you have an opponent in front of you. You're seeing these cuts. 3. Clavicle to hip, clavicle to hip. 4. Right across, flat. 5. Thrusting in, raising up. 6. Redondo. With a knife, I would use these to hit hands. 7. Reverse arc. Redondo. 8. 9. Forward arc. 10. To the knee. 11. To the knee. 12. 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so that's what I've got for you today. Go practice this, right? Try to have these techniques down. I put them in this drill, the 13 strikes, so that you can kind of practice in sequential order, so you try to remember all of them. Practice them in isolation though, right? So don't only just flow through this, and don't become really good at doing this with no power, right? Boom. Practice some of these, right? Practice here 1. Practice here 2. Scales just gone. Nose. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right? So practice these. Practice them however you need to, but I do want each individual strike to be worked on, and then you can put them in combinations. If you need to practice that setup for each one of those, that's fine. Just work this, try to have this down. Again, this is most of the strikes that we have, right? It's not a lot. You just have to become really good at the basics. And that's the important thing for colleagues. Become really good at the basics. We'll get into some of the fancy partner stuff at a later date, but until then, get really good at the basics. All martial arts, that's the key, right? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the guys that are the best are really, really good at the basics. You get caught by some weird stuff every now and then, but the basics are what will consistently make you better than everybody else. And that is true for every style of martial art. Practice the basics, right? So if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, send me a comment. Let me know how I can make this better for you. And yeah, I'll see you next week.